Welcome back to PipeCast. This is another filler episode. We'll be doing Hearth Home's BlackHouse. We're going to cut right to the tobacco and show you what it's comprised of real fast. So this is the makeup of BlackHouse. We have the blend right here. It's comprised of Dark Fire Kentucky, Turkish Orientals, Latakia, and Red Virginia. Now, what's difficult is sort of differentiating between the Latakia blend and the Dark Fired, which is kind of an interesting combination because you don't normally see two fire-cured tobaccos in the same blend. At least I don't normally see those two types of blends together. So this should be interesting to smoke. Alright, so for this episode, as we broke down the component elements of the blend, I will be doing the first impression, and Patrick here is going to be doing the last review. So this is a Balkan blend. It's a pretty interesting Balkan blend. It's very balanced. It's extremely smooth. It's probably one of the smoother Balkans I've ever had. The Latakia isn't as strong as I had originally thought upon first kind of taking my first initial whiffs of it. It's there. I thought it was going to be a little bit more pronounced. I actually think that maybe the Dark Fire Kentucky, which is an odd addition to this blend. And the reason I say that is because Latakia is another fire-cured tobacco. So it's peculiar that you would pair it up, in my opinion, with another fire-cured. But interesting, I think it's actually mellowing out the smoke. The smoke just seems a little bit more rounded than, just a straight Latakia with Oriental and Virginia and Burley. And this also has some Cavendish in it. So I think that this blend really does. I can see why it was nominated and I believe won a competition at the Pipe Show in Chicago. This is several years back. It's really smooth. It's really it doesn't have a lot of sharp edges. I am smoking it in a calabash, and calabash has a tendency to sort of mellow out tobaccos a little bit. I would probably want to give this another go in a briar, just because, just to revisit it in just another type. I think that really, though, this probably has more sweet characteristics than most Balkans. It just seems like everything really mashed up really well and is very smooth. Kind of starting through the first third of the bowl, and the flavor profile is very consistent. It's extremely consistent, which is peculiar, I think, with some American blenders because they just haven't had a lot, especially with Cornell and Dill. It seems like for whatever reason they just don't seem to mesh very well. There's a lot of inconsistency, almost as if you get like a chunk of Virginia, a chunk of Oriental, a chunk of Latakia. This feels like it's had a lot of time to mature in its tin, and those flavors have just really come together. So it's really enjoyable first third. Patrick?
Yeah, I've been smoking on it for a little bit now, and without trying to compare it to other Balkan blends, it's very good. It's very well rounded. I think you hit it on the head with that. It's well rounded. Every now and again I'll get a little bit of that acrid type taste. I don't know if that's something that has to do with Latakia or not, but it's sort of that kerosene type kind of flavor. And I wouldn't say it's the best Balkan, but I enjoy it all. It's a good smoke. I didn't really pick up on any of the Dark Fired. I did pick up on the fact that it felt like there was less Latakia, but like you're saying, it could be the Dark Fired mellowed it out a little bit more. But it sort of felt like the Latakia was a little bit lesser in this one than other blends, which can be a good or a bad thing depending on your preference for Latakia. But yeah, this I would suggest this blend. It definitely, to me, from what I've been told of, Balkan style blends, which I've only had a few, but it sort of epitomizes, I guess, everything with of a Balkan. It's sort of has got a lot of components, but I don't know. I think sometimes for me, I can get confused between a Balkan and a heavy English, because I feel like sometimes those two words are sort of interchangeable. Sometimes I know the definition of Balkan is up for debate. I think.
Yeah, I think the name gets thrown around quite extensively, and initially I thought that it was a heavier Latakia, and then I sort of started to believe, this is a long time ago, that it was sort of a kitchen sink where you basically throw everything at it. I do think that it's a heavy Latakia with a favorable leaning towards Orientals. When I describe this as that, no. But this is described as a Balkan, even in, I think, some reviews I've seen before, people actually say that it's comprised of Balkan tobaccos, which would be indicative of Oriental tobaccos. So I'm just going to stick with the fact that this is a Balkan. It's labeled as such. It's very good. Would I personally call it a Balkan? No. But I also would call some Englishes that I've smoked in the past Balkan blends that are actually described as English blends. So
yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a pretty well put together blend, especially like you said for an American blender. And that's not to knock any other ones, but like you said, it seems like the components are more married up in a way. So,
well, Russell Lett is a very talented tobacconist. He's been around. He's been in the business for a long time, and his tobaccos are extremely well manicured. Doesn't mean that the tobacco that he always gets is great, but the way he puts the components together, you can tell that the man has quite a lot of experience. As much experience, I think, as GLPs. I think that they come from it from two different angles, but the characteristics of Rasoulette that make him so good, some of the way he blends. I mean, like I said, it's a little bit different from peas, but it's there, and it makes his flavor profiles and all of his blends, really stand out as something very interesting and something to be explored.
Yep. So, I would definitely, if you get a chance to try this blend, give it a go. I mean, it's it's got a lot of unique things going on, especially with that interplay with the Latakia and the Dark Fire Kentucky. So, I'd say check it out, but I don't think it'd be a rotational for me though.
I actually think that after exploring this a little bit more, that this could be something that I definitely introduce into a rotation for winter. Like I said, I'm not a huge Latakia smoker in the summer. It is sort of the beginnings of spring, I guess you could say. So, that's all well and good, I guess, but I think that this is something I could explore more, definitely in the winter.
All right. Well, I don't really have any more to say about this blend.
I think you should try it.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say about that. It's definitely good. I will suggest that there are some sister blends that competed against this. You should probably check those out as well, and do a little comparison.
Yeah. So we hope you enjoyed this, and we hope to see you again.
Thank you.